Welcome, everybody. I'm Veronica Miller. For those of you guys that don't know, we do have some new faces in the room, which I'm very excited about. I am, among a few things, the founder of Designhounds. We are celebrating between Designhounds and what was prior to that blog tour, our 13th year at KBIS. And we're very, very proud of that because you guys are doing something right if the show keeps inviting us back. So don't stop doing that, KBIS. I'm looking at you, Leanne. Because we're quite proud of that. And we'd like to kind of up that number a little bit more in the future. So, we do the work with Designhounds. We also work very, very closely. Many of you know this with the NKBA directly as their consultancy around international business development. So kind of a little bit of a two-hatted system here today. And very grateful that you guys are making the time to join us all here today. And I hope you get a lot out of it. There's a lot going on. And sometimes I feel like coming together in just a virtual event to really review some of the highlights at the show that we can expect and give sponsors a chance to share what they would like you to think about and see at the show is a good idea to just kind of aggregate all of that good stuff and bring you together. I know many of you have been at KBIS for a really long time. We're looking at a very strong show, I dare say, for 2025 for just what is it, 2.5 weeks from now, right? Is that kind of where we're at? I think Leanne is running a countdown, so she'll tell us about that today. And on that note, I have my guests here, my panel of presenters on the KBIS side, Leanne Wood, principal at Flying Camel, and here on behalf of KBIS, but also a very, very dear friend and longtime colleague of me. So thank you for jumping in here today, sweetie. That's nice to see you. And on the NKBA side, Heather Shannon, SVP of Marketing and Communications at the NKBA, and somebody I get to harass literally every day, and I apologize for that later.
Hi, everyone.
And then completely new to the Designhounds world is Ann Muth at BlueStar Appliances. She's the VP of Marketing, and but we go way back in a weird way. We've just never really figured out how to work together. So very excited to have you here today. And then on the Laminam side, it's in my own kitchen. We've done a recording. We've done Designhounds Talks about this. Is Fernanda Noguera. And she is the Director of Marketing for Laminam USA and Canada. And then finally at Ballerina Kitchens from Germany, which also happens to be my kitchen, I'm just saying, there's a thing going on here, is Jeremy Parcells, one of our NKBA Global Connect advisor and the US dealer and representative for Ballerina Kitchens from Germany. So welcome, everybody. So, and I'm going to dive right in. I know Florence and Sarah are just can't wait to get this presentation underway. And first in line is going to be Leanne telling us everything we can expect to see at KBIS. Over to you.
Yes, well, probably not everything. First of all, as Veronica said, Leanne Wood, I'm CEO of Flying Camel and also 13th show. Veronica and I started working on KBIS together that 13 years ago. So we've been doing this for quite a long time. My agency is responsible for all the social media for the show, the digital, and if you're seeing anything on the KBIS platforms, that's us working on behalf of the show. We also program the KBIS Next Stage, the Luxury Lounge, and the new podcast studio, which I'm going to introduce today as well. So our role is the attendee experience, everything that is really outside of an exhibitor booth and the things and activations that you can take advantage of. So I am going to say, get ready for 3 days of inspiration. Did you say there's people that are brand new, have never even been to KBIS, Veronica?
Yes, put that in the chat. If you guys have never been to KBIS before, go ahead and throw that in the chat.
The newbies, yes.
Yes.
So get ready for 3 days of inspiration, learning, networking, late nights, early mornings, dancing in places you never expect, because it will happen, and an experience you won't forget. And we're newbie, great.
Yeah,
Yes, we can't wait to meet you. So I am going to concentrate today on telling you what's going on the KBIS Next Stage, the Luxury Lounge, and the podcast studio. However, I can answer a lot of questions about the show. So if you want to put any questions in, once I'm finished speaking, I'm going to hang around and listen to the presentation. So I will answer any questions that you may have about the show in general. But right now, I'm going to focus on the programming and what you can take in to augment your experience. So the reason I don't get out much at the show, you may not even see me, is because I am behind the curtain at the next stage. And this is an insider view into what our grid looks like. I just want to point out there's no breaks. It's back-to-back programming. There's a lot going on. So that is what we're working on right now for all of the attendees. And I have to say that, of course, I didn't read the fine print on this. I customized this conversation and the highlights to the Design Hounds for 2025 based on your schedule and what you could take advantage of. But I will definitely go into a lot of the key speakers and subjects that you won't want to miss. So we will move on. So the highlights, the KBIS Next Stage is divided into 4 content tracks: wellness, business trends, sustainability, and technology. We have 3 fabulous hosts this year. Day 1 is John McLean. Day 2 is Sophie Donaldson. I know everyone loves Sophie in the design industry. And day 3 is Breegan Jane, the lovely Breegan Jane. So we've got great hosts to keep the conversations going this year. On day 1, this is actually day 1, we have a lot of NKBA activations. We've got the design, we're kicking off. No, go back. Secret. We've got the Design Council, which is an NKBA initiative, and that is with Michael Smith Boyd, Tom Felicia, Caleb Anderson, Celery Kemble, and they are going to be interviewed by Bill Hanley, who is the editor-in-chief of Dwell. So that's kicking off in the morning. So I know the Global Connect pavilion is fairly close to the stage. You might want to take that into the morning and then head over to your 10 o'clock. We've got Ferguson panels, and we've got new research from NKBA. Also on day 1, we've got, I know a lot of you, and I know SKS is an important sponsor for Design Hounds as well. We've got an amazing panel called Nutritional Spaces, Designing for Healthy Lifestyles, with people like Danny Seo, Sarah Robertson, Sharon Sherman, and Laura Freeman. That's a great one to take in. We also have Visionaries, Innovators, and Icons series with the fabulous Beth DiTolo and Carolina Gentry, interviewed by Allison Kenworthy, who is an Emmy Award-winning producer. That's called Fearless Design. If anyone wants to take that, if anyone has ever heard Beth and Carolina talk, and Veronica, I know you can concur on this.
Yes.
It is an experience. It's so funny, but it's also very inspirational because they do amazing work. And we also have a cool AI panel on day 1. It's about, last year, it was so interesting. Last year it was a concept, and this year everyone is using it. Like the progress that AI has taken in the last year is just mind-blowing. So now we're talking about how to use it. It's not like what is going to happen, it's how to use it to improve your business. And we have Jenna Gaduzik, who's the AI queen. We've got Jonah Kilday from MK Workshop, and Lori Laser, who a lot of us know as well, is on that panel. And so that's day 1. And Veronica, can I ask you, because you're so integrated in this, to talk about the 2 Global Connect panels on day 1 as well?
Yes, and I might actually punt over to Sarah, or to, better yet, I know Sarah's on here, but so is Heather, to talk about the Windsor Declaration. You guys pick. I'll be more than happy to talk about the kitchen furniture one. Sherry is normally the person who leads all of this, but she is stuck on an icy road somewhere in the middle of Vermont and couldn't make it here right now. But Heather, do you want to speak to the Windsor Declaration a little bit?
Sure. So that is happening on Tuesday on the next stage. And it's actually a really interesting concept, if you will, and a really interesting topic. So it is a combination of leaders throughout the industry who are really having a passion about water scarcity, because obviously it's a global issue. And also I can never say this right, antimicrobial resistance. See, I did it. Look at that. Antimicrobial resistance.
Mouthful.
So the panel is getting together to talk about that and to kind of bring that to a wider audience. Bill Darcy, who is the NKBA CEO, is a member of the team that signed this declaration at Windsor Castle. That's why it's called the Windsor Declaration. Laura Kohler, who is a family member and obviously an owner of the Kohler Company, is another person who is involved in this panel. Those are probably the two most well-known in America people that are involved, but there are global individuals involved in this panel, and they're really going to talk through what are manufacturers doing to try to reduce water usage. Because bathrooms and kitchens obviously take up a lot of water. So it's really critical for designers to fully understand what this group is doing and how they're going to move this forward in the coming years.
Very
Anything
good.
you want to add, Veronica?
No, I think that's good. And it's important. And these are two panels that come out of the work that we do around Global Connect, which is really the international development that the NKBA does within the kitchen and bath industries globally, particularly with our friends in Europe. So it's getting really deep in terms of the topics that we're discussing. Global Connect is no longer just about entering the North American market, getting great new brands to KBIS, which we very much are doing, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But beyond that, it really is about international dialogue. And we spend just as much time learning from our friends in Europe as hopefully they do from us, sometimes a little bit more too, because so many of these topics are really, really important. The European Kitchen Furniture Panel is another group of industry insiders from European kitchen manufacturers, led by one of our brand new advisors on the Global Connect team, and that is Ken Bush. Who has a company called Material Intelligence, and Ken has been with us on a tour at SICAM show in Italy. I might get into that just a hair later on. And he's the sustainability guru. And it's really important to kind of look at some of what we can learn and bring back to the North American market that is initiated by our friends in Europe, who are sometimes ahead of us, sometimes not. Sometimes we think they're ahead of us, and then they tell us that actually we are. And so that's what this conversation is going to be about, is to really say, what are we leading? Where are we going? And how do we really kind of make each other grow by being thoughtful about use of materials. So Ken is amazing to listen to. And he will also have a small materials lounge at KBIS. So we'll get you guys more information on that later.
Okay, and the last thing I want to mention about day one is Design Bites, which I believe the Designhounds 2025 group are attending. It is the 10th anniversary of Design Bites, believe it or not. There's a history to that involves both Leanne Wood and Veronica Miller. So that's fun. We'll tell you that story at another time. But we brought back one of the most popular hosts that we've had in the past. If anyone follows Darren Keefe, he's the Dancing Carpenter on Instagram. Yes. And he's been on Extreme Home Makeover. He's just a really fun guy. And he was really thrilled to be asked back to be the host of Design Bites. We've got Allison Victoria, who is launching a new show on HTV called Sin City Rehab. It used to be Windy City Rehab. So she's a Vegas girl now, and she was happy to become one of our judges. John McLean, who's the host, our day one host, and the fabulous Stacy Shoemaker-Rowan, the editor-in-chief of Hospitality Design Magazine, who will add that, those cutting questions to the Design Bites brands. If anyone doesn't know about Design Bites, it is basically speed dating for brands. They have 5 minutes to do their most amazing product pitch. They'll do anything to get your attention. It's probably the most fun that we have on the stage. It's a lighthearted competition, and the winners win the brand with the biggest bite, and we do a live voting for People's Pick Award. It's just a lot of fun. So please come and join us. And it's also the best way. We have 11 brands this year. It's also the best way to see the hottest product launches at KBIS, sitting and having fun while you're doing it. So please come to Design Bites. It's at noon on the KBIS Next stage. And then quickly, I know I'm probably over my time because we started a little bit late. So day 2 and day 3, I wanted to point out some interesting panels too. We've got a disruptor series. If anyone has ever heard of Alchemist Paint, if you can look at that picture, you can just tell those women are cool, right? Like just so cool. They decided during COVID, when painting an apartment, that they didn't like the paint. They came up with their own, the world's most eco-friendly paint called Alchemist. They're going to tell their entrepreneurial story, which is fascinating. Some other cool panels on day 2, role reversal getting published. We're actually have a designer interviewing editors. We have Jill Cohen, the editor-in-chief of Lux Interiors, and from the consumer magazine side. And then we have Chelsea Butler from the trade magazine side to tell you what it takes to get published. We've got some sustainability panels. We've got on that day as well, we've got expectations versus reality. And that's, you see those memes all the time when your client budget is this and the reality is, or the client expectations is this and the reality of the budget is this, and how to manage it. It's also going to touch a little bit on the climate that we're in right now, not too much politically, but definitely economically, on managing your business through maybe a challenging economy and some challenges. So that's a really great one to take in too. Day 3, I'd like to encourage everyone to take in CEO perspectives. It's a conversation between CEO Bill Darcy of NKBA and the CEO of CEDIA, Daryl Friedman, in a great conversation about the intersection of design and technology and the future. So there's lots of things going on, wellness panels, technology panels. Please have a look at KBIS.com. And the show features, you can go into the schedule for the KBIS Next Stage. And then quickly, I'll go into the luxury lounge. Same thing, a few more breaks here, but this is the behind the scenes grid on this. I do want to bring a couple things to light. We do have Corey Damon Jenkins talking about the test of time with Sophie Donaldson about, those how to incorporate beautiful vintage and beautiful antiques into modern luxury design. We've got Kate Pierce from Kate Pierce Vintage talking about personalization, which is a key topic in luxury. We've got Regina Sturrock and Nina Magon on talking about pushing the limits, which came from a conversation that started with asking your client what the budget is, and the budget says it's unlimited. And wouldn't everyone always like that? But keeping that luxury conversation going, even when the budget is extreme. We've got Nathan Orsman on day 2. He's the lighting designer to the stars. I was on a call with him, and in the course of the call, he mentioned Oprah Winfrey, Nate Berkus, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. It's just like the people that he does lighting plans for. It'll blow your mind, and he's going to tell the scoop on all of that and some of the projects. And another one, I think you can flip over, Sarah. One I really want to invite you to. It's going to be so fun. It's called The Style File, and it's with Richard Anaskevich and Nina Magon, 2 very stylish designers. But we're bringing in a color consultant, a personal color consultant, where you can get your color read. And we're talking about how personal branding can attract the luxury customer. So it's going to be really interactive and fun. And we're closing off the luxury lounge with the grand finale, the luxury edit. 3 designers are talking about their favorite luxury finds in 2025, Sarah, Ariane, and Julie Ireland. And I didn't change we changed it to Prosecco and cupcakes will be served other than refreshments and snacks. So why don't you end off the luxury lounge, come and join us for the grand finale, have a little bit of bubbles and celebrate the show that's on day 3. And I think the last thing I want to talk about is the new initiative. You can flip right through to some of the podcasters we have in the KBIS podcast studio that is in the South Hall registration area. Josh Cooperman is doing a 10-part KBIS series. And then we also have these lovely podcasters that are joining us. You can sit in the adjacent lounge and listen, but all of these will be rebroadcast after the show. So lots of big names there. I know you probably know most of these people, and we're really excited about the new podcast initiative. And then breathe. Finally, I have some recommendations from an old KBIS girl. Make a plan for your time off. Even the current group, when you have a 2-hour time slot, don't wander. Make sure you're seeing the people that you want to see. Use the app. It's so helpful. It will give you the geography on how to get places, which is great. The shortest route. In any of the sessions that you go to, please take part in the Q&A. KBIS is not the time to be quiet. Ask your questions and get the conversation going. Connect with all the speakers. Speakers love when people come up to them after a speaking engagement and ask questions. It's so affirming for them to know that you are interested in what they were saying, and you can get so much information that way. When you're posting, please tag KBIS Official because we will share. Be intentional about what you say yes to. It's very overwhelming to say yes to so many invitations. Exhibitors are there to answer your questions, so form those relationships. Quick story, a friend, a lot of you might know Tristan Gary. She made a connection with an exhibitor a couple years ago from England, Blaze on the Isle of Wight. They invited her over and some friends this year just to come and see the facility and things like that. Like just beautiful relationships are formed at the show. And then I'm going to say this as a PR person, try not to RSVP or SVP to anything you cannot attend. From the PR side, we base catering and costs on the amount of RSVPs. So if you have no intention to go, don't. Don't do it unless you're serious about it. So there's just a few recommendations. I'm happy to answer any other questions about the show, about the navigation, about anything. And that's it for me. Veronica, any questions? I tried to rush.
That was great. You know, high speed Leanne, this is why we haven't worked together in the last year, and I need this kind of energy in my life. I feel like I'm ready to go now.
Yes.
So that's thank you very much, Leanne. I know we'll take some questions if you guys have them. If you think about something later, you can always email us. Florence is going to drop some contact emails into the chat here as well, or if something occurs to you as we listen to the other presentations. So there's a lot going on. I'm excited about the podcast, love the luxury lounge and where it's now going. Those are great conversations. And then of course the stage is always amazing. So yeah, Susie Fia, you're absolutely right. There is never enough time. I've been lobbying for a 4th day for a really long time, and NKBA will just not even answer those emails, it turns out. So Heather,
but you
over
know
to
what? We have to say, some people think they go home on the Wednesday night. Thursday is a really great
Yes.
day to spend more time with the exhibitors, take in the programming. It is a 3-day show, and people need to stay for 3 days. There's
Me
so
too.
much going on. To Susie's point, there's so much to see. So make sure
And
you're there till the end on Thursday.
you know what? And Designhounds has stepped up on this one hardcore this year. We've added a 4th night for our traveling team of
Amazing.
20 Designhounds, and we are having our Designhounds Unwind meetup at 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And Florence can put a link in here as well in a minute at the Encore. So the whole community gets to get together. That's on us. There's no sponsors. It's just us reconnecting with our guys. And hopefully we get to see everybody there. The intention there is to exactly make sure everybody realizes that there is indeed a 3rd day. Cool.
All good.
All right. And we've
you.
decided to just kind of keep the conversations going. Again, if you guys have questions, put them in the chat. If you have questions about how to get involved as a speaker, perhaps in the future, contact Leanne. And Leanne, I know, will be happy to put her email or somebody on her team's email into the chat here as well, just so you can kind of connect with her and say, hey, I'm talking about this stuff that you guys really haven't covered. So there's definitely.
Or have a podcast that we don't know about and you'd like to broadcast next year from the show. So please stay in touch. If we don't know about you, we don't know about you. So please connect. We're happy to have a conversation.
Yeah, very, very cool. Thank you, Leanne, as always. And I'm going to go straight over to, again, a first-time Designhounds sponsor. So excited to have BlueStar Appliances in the room. Ann Muth, take it away. What can people expect at your very, very cool space? Notice how I didn't say booth because I didn't want it to rhyme with Muth, and that's awkward. So I kind of went right around that. Yeah, I'm quick like that. So take it away and tell us a little bit more about what you guys are introducing at the show.
Sure. Well, again, thank you, Veronica, and thank you to everyone who's joining today. Sarah, if you want to go to the first slide. So my name is Ann Muth. I am Vice President of Marketing at BlueStar, and you can go to the second slide, Sarah. For those of you who are not familiar with our brand, we have proudly been handcrafting luxury kitchen appliances in Pennsylvania since 1880. Every day, we bring high-performance appliances to the kitchens of passionate home cooks. And for those who are more aspiring home cooks, but still want beautifully styled appliances, we offer over 1,000 color options and 10 metal trim finishes to accent your appliances. Our award-winning line features a full assortment of ventilation, cooking, and refrigeration products. Next slide. So why would you or your clients choose BlueStar? First, we are handcrafted. We really bring in large pieces of stainless steel sourced from US manufacturers. We bend, weld, polish, and assemble it all by American workers in Pennsylvania, which is where I'm joining you from today. Second, we are focused on performance. We are all about how we enhance how home cooks feed those that they love the most. And finally, we are the most customizable appliances in the industry. But today, I am excited to share the brand's latest expansion into induction ranges. You can go to the next slide. So the BlueStar 48-inch induction range was designed with performance in mind. It's the core of our brand. And the first thing you're going to notice when you see this product on the floor is the revolutionary matte finish top. We are officially saying goodbye to the days of having a large black mirror in the center of your kitchen as your cooktop surface. This innovative cooking surface is 80% less resistant to scratches, stains, fingerprints, reflection. Plus, it's incredibly easy to clean and wipes down 2 times faster than a standard glass induction top. But the performance doesn't stop simply at this new matte finish. You can go to the next slide.
And Anne, I'm just going to interrupt you really quickly
Sure.
because right here I get the question, when is this available?
It is available now. You can order it today.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank
you. I have the whole one behind me. The whole
Oh,
thing.
and you got a big endorsement from Susan Brinson, who has a little something to say about BlueStar being her top recommendation for serious cooks. So
thank you, Susan. So when we started to think about the induction space, we had a clear objective, and that was helping a very gas-focused American market translate the tactile and emotional experience of gas cooking into an induction system. And the way that we did that was by creating a patent-pending power level indicator light. So you'll see these red bars on each of the zones. They call them zones in induction instead of burners. And the insight is that legacy gas users really rely on the intensity of the flame to know how hot the burner is. A high flame equals high heat, a low flame equals low heat. And induction users need the same visual cue. This dynamic red bar grows with the intensity of the heat. So the small bar is low heat, large bar, high heat, giving users the visual cue that they are accustomed to on each burner, all controlled by really familiar knobs. Next slide. So if the finish and the lights weren't enough, we also have the largest cooking surface in the industry with 20% more usable space across that cooktop surface for maximum versatility. The 2 center burners are an expansive 11 inches each, perfect for your large saute pans, your oversized stock pots. And additionally, there are 4 9-inch burners. The burners on the left and the right can bridge to create one large oversized burner, as you see here on the right-hand side. And each zone is highly responsive with 12 different settings. Next slide. But the capacity does not stop on the cooktop surface. Our true convection ovens are full size. They fit commercial size baking sheets, which are 18 by 26 inches. So there is no shortage of space in these ovens. We'll make sure that you can do all your multi-rack cooking for any holiday or party. The oven is controlled by a very user-friendly 7-inch color touchscreen with 8 cooking modes. And we really hope that you'll come by to see us in person at the show. And if not, we are part of Design Bites. So if you're at Design Bites, you can also see us there. But speaking of the show, we would love to share a little bit of a preview of our booth. So the booth will feature 3 vignettes designed by San Francisco-based interior designer Tina Triggs, each offering a distinct design perspective. Tina aimed to create a space that evokes a sense of connection to nature, which, as we all know, will be a very stark contrast to the intense environment of the convention show floor. The booth's color schemes are deep greens, muddy rust brown, and creams, encouraging guests to feel welcome and at home. The back wall, you can see the hood here and the range underneath it are both going to be in signal brown, BlueStar's 2025 color of the year, also selected by Tina. And she said this about BlueStar and the booth. Many people find it difficult to understand how to use color effectively in their designs. By showcasing how we incorporated color here, we feel it made it achievable and also inspiring. Before we move from this slide, I would encourage you to either grab your phone and take a picture or take a quick screenshot. And we will be, if you come to the booth with the picture of this, we will give you a signed copy to the first 10 people of Tina's book, Design Mixology, The Interiors of Tina Triggs. I would consider coming at the end of the day. It's a very heavy coffee table book, so I know you all have a lot of steps to walk, but it would be an added workout if you're up for it. Okay, if everyone's taken a shot, we can go to the next slide. We also wanted to share a little bit more about how you can incorporate BlueStar into your designs. The first is with our Build Your Own tool, which you can create a range, a hood, a refrigerator. You can use all of our colors, our trim options. And this is a great way to help you present either concept boards or mood boards to your clients, incorporating the appliances into the design. Secondly, you can order samples through our online store on our website, and you can get color samples and trim samples. And I do have a code up here that you can use that will give you 3 free samples and free shipping as well. And finally, you can join our trade rewards program where we will reward you for supporting and speccing the brand. Last slide. So on behalf of BlueStar, we appreciate your time today, and we look forward to seeing you in our booth in the West Hall, 1877.
Thank you very, very much, Anne. And you're getting a whole lot of accolades here of people always recommending you guys first. I know your team is on it, and you guys will communicate with everybody in the group anyway. But a couple questions that I had. Susan Brinson is asking, can these be customized with no glass in the doors? I'm assuming we're talking about the ovens, Susan.
They cannot.
If you want to unmute, you feel free to ask your questions in person. If not, go ahead and answer.
Hey, hi. Yeah, I was just wondering like how far you can push customization since you guys are making them in Pennsylvania. glass in the doors is a big conversation. Yeah, the oven part. And a lot of the spaces that I work on are historic, and we
Mhm,
try to have a piece that'll have the technology but also blend in. So
mhm.
that's something that I'm always looking at.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, we cannot do no glass on the oven doors. But I think depending on what you're looking for, our all gas ranges are just knob controlled. They don't have any of the electronics touch screens on the front. It might be a great option if you're trying to maintain that look and feel in those historic spaces.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Cool. And then Crystal is asking if there is a slide deck we can access to present this to clients.
Sure. And another option that we have is if you email trade@bluestarcooking.com, we are absolutely willing to do a virtual training with your design firm or an in-person lunch and learn if you like. But in the meantime, we can provide a couple slides if you have something specific for a client in mind.
Thank you. And one more question. Ella's asking, can you get the cooktop alone without the range? Can it just, is there a cooktop?
That is in the future. It is, I will say it's not in 2025.
Okay, very cool. Yes, lots of fans in the room already, so hopefully we're not totally preaching to the choir here. But thank you very much, Anne. And I know you guys will be able to reach out. The email is posted right here, trade@bluestarcooking.com. And hopefully you guys will take that screenshot. If any of you did not get the screenshot of the booth rendering and want to get it, we'll send that to you. Just contact Florence or Sarah, and we'll send that over to you. And we'll share our screenshot with you for a chance to get one of the books. So absolutely happy to see that. Can't wait to see you guys at KBIS. That's going to be great. Happy
We're
to
so
have you.
excited.
Thank you for being here, Anne.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go over to, I'm assuming Veronica and Heather. I don't think Sherry ever made it out of the snow and ice of Vermont, but that's all right. You and I can totally do this.
Yeah.
We haven't talked Global Connect for a very long time. So let's talk about Global Connect at KBIS and what that means. Heather, are you comfortable with this kind of
Sure.
universe? Please take it
Yes.
away.
So, and Veronica really has just been, I mean, you spearheaded the program for years. I'm very new to it compared to her, and compared to the entire team. But what is exciting for you all to see at KBIS is all of the different Global Connect activations and areas. And I think something that's important to note is we have a lot of some of them are in North Hall, but the majority of the Global Connect is in South Hall. And it's actually going to be very close to the next stage and to the NKBA booth, which is great because there'll be a lot of I don't want to say integration, but kind of, back and forth between all those different areas. So it'll be really easy to access all of this if you're going to a next stage presentation or, something with NKBA. It's all going to kind of be in the same spot. So what we are doing there is I'll start with because I like to go clockwise. So we're going to start with the international pavilions. And we have 5 this year. We have 2 Italian, 1 Brazil, 1 German, and 1 UK. One of the Italian as well as the German are located in North Hall. The other 3 are in South Hall. And it's a really great opportunity when you go to these pavilions to see a bunch of different brands from those specific countries all in one space. So you can talk to a lot of people in a very short amount of time, which, as we know at KBIS, is very important because everything is so big and there's so much to see. Second is the International Media Tour. So Sarah put together a very curated list of journalists from Europe, and we're really excited to host them because what we're trying to do is have them come to the show and then go back to their home countries and talk about the importance of the North American market, and the show obviously as well, but more so growth in North America. So they will be here, they will be coming to the show, attending a lot of events, particularly in the Global Connect Lounge, and learning just more about our market and meeting also with several companies. Then we'll go down to the International Global Connect exhibitors. And the ones that are not in the pavilions, there's a couple different options for them. They can have traditional booths or they can be part of our kiosk program, which I'll talk about in a minute. But this year we have more international exhibitors than ever before. So that is very exciting. Our Strategic Alliance Partner Forum, that is happening on Monday, and that's off-site. And that's really just an opportunity for different leaders from around the world to kind of get together and talk about the issues that they are facing in their nation, and the issues that North America is facing as well, and then how we can all work together to solve the problems so that we elevate the industry throughout the entire world and just work together. It's just a great way to do that.
And I'll throw in a couple of sentences around that because I think it's really important what NKBA has invested here into with this international development program is not just bringing international brands to KBIS, but to ensure that when they do and when they come to North America, that they go through an incubator program with us as consultants and with many industry advisors. We have 20 people under the hood right now that are there to consult on marketing, go to market, all of those programs to make sure that when you guys see something at KBIS, you can also buy it and they're compliant, they're ready to go to market, they have distribution in place, or at least they're open to talking to you about how to go to market. So just there's a real commitment here that I am very proud to be a part of that is quite visionary because it's not transactional. It's not about let's bring a lot of companies here and sell them booth space at KBIS. That is the end result, but it's not what the program is about. It really is to make sure that you guys have partners to work with that you can rely on. So, kudos to the NKBA for making that investment because I'll say it, it's not a moneymaker. It really is just a very altruistic and visionary program.
Yeah, it's relationship building really globally, which is pretty exciting. I've been a part of it just for a few months, but it's very inspirational and it's very interesting to learn how all these different countries work and what's popular there and what's popular in a different country and the different design styles. It's very interesting. So that brings us to the NKBA Global Connect Lounge, which, as I mentioned, is located in South Hall near the NKBA booth and near the next stage. And there you can participate in the spotlight programs, which we'll talk a little bit more about coming up, and then visit the international kiosks. Can you go back to well, I guess you can leave it here. The international kiosks. So what we have, there's 4 kiosks, and they are from. Never mind. I'm talking ahead. So you know what?
You're talking ahead. We can hop into that next slide, Sarah.
Okay.
Because Global Connect Lounge, we definitely want you guys to come and attend.
Yes. And in the Global Connect Lounge, there's a lot of events happening. There's happy hours, there's breakfasts, there's spotlight events, as we talked about. There's also meeting space available if you want to, take a meeting or something like that. So here is the schedule for the programming in the Global Connect Lounge. So they have 10 to 11, we have a 10 to 11 brand spotlight on Tuesday and on Wednesday. And then on Thursday from 10 to 11:30 in the morning, there's a breakfast program. Veronica, do you want to explain it a little better? I don't think I'm going to do it justice.
Yeah, and I'm happy to take this one all together. So first of all, brand spotlights, we stole directly from Design Bites. We're not even going to lie. And Leanne and I will probably have to tell you that we also stole Design Bites. It was just such a cool format to be able to sit in a space, sit there for an hour and learn from multiple brands. So you can then decide, it lets you aggregate the show in a really comfy way to learn about new people. And in fact, Leanne mentioned it earlier, Blaze Outdoor Kitchens was one of the presenters in our Spotlights presentation a few years ago. Every design hound in the room ran to what wasn't even their booth. They were just kind of hijacking somebody else's booth. They're so little from the Isle of Wight in England, but they just made a huge entry into the North American market because of this program. So we will have, Sarah, can you briefly jump on and speak to the Tuesday and Wednesday, who will actually be presenting during those? And then we'll have a link to share with you as well with some more programming, make sure you RSVP. There's links to RSVP on all of these events.
Yeah, so for the spotlights on Tuesday, that's going to be hosted by one of our Global Connect advisors, Luann Nagara, who I'm sure many of you already know. And spotlights on this day include Anima AVR, which is one of our strategic alliance partners. And that's followed by Falmec. They will also be presenting that day. They're a Global Connect member brand. And we'll also have, the British Manufacturers Association coming on to talk on behalf of the UK Pavilion. There are several companies from the UK Pavilion coming to talk about their companies, and they're all new to KBIS brands. So that will be very exciting. And then similarly on Wednesday, we have the spotlights hosted by Greg Roll, another Global Connect advisor. On this day, we have folks from the German Pavilion coming to speak on behalf of the German Pavilion to present about their products. We have Schott Saran, who some of you may know. They're a Global Connect brand, although they make lots of products, glass products for many different kitchen appliances and beyond the kitchen stuff. And then lastly, we'll have Cedia do a quick spotlight presentation. They are a new strategic alliance partner as well. So lots of good stuff.
Thank you, Sarah. And I'm sorry if I put you on the spot, but there really is a lot inside these. So listening to the Italians, to the UK Pavilion brands presenting their newest products. There's a lot of very exciting products that are brand new to the North American market. And that's part and parcel of the Global Connect Lounge. And hearing from the Germans, their pavilion is located in North Hall, but they will be doing the spotlights presentations as well. We do have two noon presentations. Those are especially designed for international visitors, for international brands that are coming to walk the show, to learn about building their brand and distribution and sales. However, if you guys want to dive in on some of these conversations and kind of raise a hand and say, here's how I work as a designer, it's always appreciated, because one thing that happens with brands that come to North America, they have no idea in many cases, if not most cases, what a designer is and why you guys are really important. So love to have you guys be part of these noon roundtable discussions as well. Robin Wright Fisher and I will be hosting a Bright Future of Design discussion at 1:30 on Wednesday. I'm excited about that. Not Robin Wright, Robin Rigby Fisher. I don't know. I'm confusing it with an actress, aren't I? Robin Rigby Fisher, she brings a lot of students with her. And here we will be talking a lot about sourcing internationally, because it's the Global Connect Lounge. And I want to talk a little bit more about some of the international trade shows that we've been partnering with through NKBA Global Connect. And then at 3 p.m. on the Wednesday is another shot happy hour, and it's called Hit Me With Your Best Shot, because we're going to have a bourbon tasting. So be there. And Schott is a great brand. I'm from Germany. We all know what Schott Saran is all about. I'm hoping you guys do too. But they're the makers of most glass cooktops that you guys are getting, but not all glass cooktops. So it's really important to learn about why it's important to have these high quality glass makers and as component part suppliers for the appliance that you specify. And very dear to my heart, we will have our Designhounds team on Thursday at 10 a.m. for the Ingredients Inside presentation, which is co-hosted by Expo SICAM. SICAM is a show that we just absolutely love. It's a component parts show about hour or so, 45 minutes outside of Venice. We get to go every year. It's the hard job that somebody has to do. And it's a really phenomenal job job show where you really learn a lot about not just ingredient brands, not just about the hardware used inside cabinetry. It goes beyond that. Some of your appliance guys are there, the solid surface guys are there. And SICAM is partnered with the NKBA so that we get to present at their show and they get to present at KBIS. So we're looking forward to having everybody there for a small breakfast and really understanding the trends that are coming out of Italy and rest of Europe.
And then we have the kiosks I mentioned earlier, which are very close to the Global Connect Lounge and the British Pavilion, which is pretty exciting. You can see the brands here. There's 4 kiosks. And if you're hungry, we will have a candy bar in the kiosk featuring candy from all of the different countries. So for instance, from Italy, there'll be some delicious lemon candy. So if you're hungry, stop by. We'll just give you
I
one.
didn't know you were still doing the candy
Oh,
bar.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Good.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
get like a little bag and then fill it up and
I like
yeah.
it. It's very cute.
Yeah, so then sample some candy from other countries. As I mentioned earlier, there's the International Pavilion Program, and it is in North and South Halls. So we have 2 from Italy, 1 from Germany, 1 from the UK, and 1 from Brazil. And these are the brands. I'm not going to read through all of them, but these are the brands in the Germany one. These are the brands in the UK one. And then this is Italian and Italy and Brazil. So we're pretty excited to have 5 this year. And I think it's really going to showcase a lot of what these countries have to offer the North American market. So you can stop by all of them. The Italian one and the Brazilian one in South Hall are pretty close to everything else that we have in South Hall. And then the North Hall one, the Italian one's right by Kohler. And then the German one is kind of up in the corner near the luxury lounge, I believe.
Luxury
So,
lounge, exactly.
yeah.
And again, this is something that KBIS really hasn't seen until Global Connect made its entry into this whole program. So, for Italy to come with 2 pavilions to KBIS is a really big deal. That's a big decision for their government to make and say, we want to be at KBIS. So KBIS is really taking this turn to being more and more design centric, to more and more luxury focused, and to really focus in on these international brands. Brazil, I understand, will also be expanding in the future. And the Germans are just off to the races. They're like at 17,000 square feet, and there's no end in sight with these guys. And now the UK is coming. So definitely give these guys your full support when you're at the show, and tell them that you're hearing them loud and clear.
Yep.
And now we're going to go straight over to our friends in Canada, Fernanda, and in Canada because that's where you're located. But of course, it is an amazing Italian company and one that we've spent a lot of time with, in fact, at the SICAM show that I just mentioned. So Fernanda, tell us a little bit more about what you guys have planned for KBIS.
First of all, thank you very much, Veronica, and all the Designhounds team for having us here today, and everybody that's here in the meeting. Thank you for your time. We're very excited. This is our 2nd year at KBIS. This year we went really big. We are double the size on the booth. We had an amazing feedback from last year, our participation, and so Laminam really decided to invest and go double the size this year on the North Hall. So we're super excited to be there. For those who don't know Laminam, we are an Italian manufacturer of porcelain slabs. And actually Laminam was one of the first companies that invented a new technology to make large format porcelain slabs, which are nothing like regular size tile on the way you make it. So to give you an idea, this is one of our manufacturing plants in Italy. I apologize. I woke up today completely out of voice. Didn't yell at anyone but my kids, but I don't know why. So I hope everybody can understand what I'm saying. So this is our factory in Italy, in Borgo Taro, where we make the large format slabs. You can see here one of those big ones. It's about 5.5 feet by 11 feet. So that gives you an idea. And there is a person here of the size of this factory. It's completely automated. It's like rocket science for porcelain slabs, basically. And that's what I love so much about Laminam, because they invest so much money in the sustainable aspect of the product, how we make it, not to waste any kind of resources on the way we make it, and the product itself is also very sustainable. Completely natural raw materials. It's made of minerals. So there's no resins, no chemical components in the product. So it's very safe to use even as a countertop, as Veronica can attest that. And it's very easy to clean and maintain, even if you use it as a facade or a countertop, indoor flooring or wall application. So it's a very versatile product, and that's what we are trying to bring to KBIS, to show the versatility of our product and inspire designers with anything that you have in your designs. You can incorporate laminum somehow. So I hope you have the time to pass by our booth at the North Hall and see a little bit of what we're going to be showing. I just want to give you a little preview of what's new at Laminam. In case you already know our product, this is what you're going to be seeing that's completely new. And we are launching a series called Chew. And why the name Chew? It's because it's 2 millimeter thick slabs. It's crazy. It's thinner as a paper. I can show you here. This is my cell phone, just to give you an idea. Look, iPhone. This
And
is
it
the
bends,
slab.
right? It bends.
You can do curved walls with it, but it's super strong. And for wall applications, cabinetry, cladding, it's a game changer. No one has that in the market. We have a patent pending on the technology to make this. So guys, please come see it because it's crazy. It's crazy. No one believes it. On this picture here, you can see this is one of our products on the wall, and that's a decor tile. So it's a 1 meter by 3 meter size, and it has like a leaf printed, but it's like a shadow. So people keep looking. It's like, where is the plant? So there's a plant. It's printed. It's just so beautiful, so subtle, so many colors. It's really amazing. You can flip some slides, Sarah, just to show kind of beautiful pastel colors. This is like the trend in Europe, more not like the super strong marbles, but more on a subtle, minimalistic color tones, where obviously you can mix with some marbles to give more a luxury vibe to your design, but they are beautiful. They are timeless. They will keep their on that environment for many years, decades, with the same appearance. It's very, very cool. And we also have those in 12 millimeter thickness, so you can seamless combine your wall with your countertops.
That's
Really
beautiful.
cool.
And the installation must be so much easier with the 2 millimeter to go up the wall and not have to worry about installing a slab on the wall. Is the surface the same in terms of durability, cleanability? Is that the same?
Absolutely. It's all the same. It's made with the same types of raw materials. Just the thickness, the thinner, it's only for wall or vertical applications where you don't have a lot of stress on the surface. If you're doing a countertop, we always recommend going with the thicker product, a half an inch at least for countertops. And that's something that's very unique with Laminam as well. The same color is available in multiple thicknesses. So you don't need to buy the thick, more expensive slab to put it on a wall. And you can do like shower walls with seamless grouting, like minimal grouting, so easy to clean. Fireplaces, because it's heat resistant, so you can put around fireplaces, outdoor kitchens. It's great for indoor and outdoor. It will never change color because it's UV resistant. So it's such a versatile and innovative product that I really invite you to come to our booth. Unfortunately, I could be 3 hours speaking about the product here, and we don't have that time. But if you do have the time to pass by our booth, I'll be glad to go through the whole technical aspects about it. This is a new color that we're also going to be bringing. It's called Taj Mahal. It's very classic, and this is going to be available in book match, in matte and polish finish.
Very good.
And the next one is the Calacata Viola, which is also a brand new color for us. available also in matte and polish finish.
Beautiful.
Now I see there is a lot of questions about Laminam.
Yep.
If you guys want to go through it quickly, it's
Yes.
fire retardant.
I will read a couple. Yes. Is it fire retardant was one of the questions. I think that's top of mind these days.
Yes, it's fire resistant. So you can put it around the fireplace as a cladding. You can put it outside around on a fire pit or around a fire an outdoor barbecue, and it will not be damaged by the fire because there is no resin, unlike quartz, like engineered quartz. Quartz has 10% resin on it, so you can't put it that because the resin is like a plastic, it will melt down. So our product porcelain is much like a stone in terms of that type of durability and with fire.
Cool. And I have two questions from Al. One is, when is it available? I'm assuming everything is available currently in North America, correct?
Yes, everything is available. We have a warehouse in Houston, Texas. We have a big network of distributors throughout USA. And we also have 4 warehouses in Canada. So even if there is something that's not currently available in US, we can always transfer material from our warehouses in Canada.
Cool. And Fernanda, the other question was, do the fabricators need a special blade? Not just a special blade, but you guys are certainly training your fabricators.
Yeah, that's a great question. And there is a big myth. Porcelain in general has a bad reputation with fabricators because there is a lot of manufacturers, and each manufacturer has a different technique. They have different machinery to make their slabs. So not all porcelains are made the same. And the problem is there's people that launched large format porcelain in the market before us, but the way they made their porcelain was not the best way to make large format. So the problems that fabricators have when they touch those products is that they have a lot of tension, they break easily, it's horrible to cut, it takes forever. So one day that a fabricator can do 10 kitchens with quartz, they do 1 kitchen with porcelain. So they hate it. They don't want to touch it. If they quote it, they are going to quote like 5 times more than a quartz kitchen. And we are slowly but surely trying to train fabricators to them understand that our product doesn't have tension just because of the way we manufacture. Very quickly, we press the powders to make the slab. It's on a moldless environment. So what happens is that when we press, we can remove the air. And then once it goes into the kiln to do a sintering process, if there is air trapped inside the slab, it creates tension. So when the fabricator is cutting or when a tile installer is cutting it to do, put it on a wall, they break it. They break it easily. Even just moving the slab, they'll break it just because the slab doesn't have quality. And that does not happen to Laminam. So if you have personally used, you probably already know, but I even invite you to ask your fabricators or your installers because they will know the difference with our product and other products in the market. In terms of cutting, it's very easy to cut our product. It cuts very similar to quartz, actually. Fabricators don't need to do relief cuts, which is something that they have to do with other porcelains in the market. Before even they start cutting anything, they have to trim the whole slab in all 4 sides to release that tension. And with our slab, they don't have to do it just because the quality it's completely different. And to cut, again, any fabricator can cut it as long as they have the proper blade, which is a specific ceramic porcelain blade that has diamond grits, which makes it easier to cut because the material is hard.
Fernanda, thank you. And there are many more questions piling in. So we will send those over to you and your agency team. So you can, and if you, during the next presentation, if you want to just dive in and answer in writing, please do. And of course, provide contact information for you so people can follow up with you.
I'll do that.
As you said, we could be
at
here.
the booth.
Yep.
I'll answer all your questions. I would love to do that.
Exactly.
Leanne, I know that she put a comment saying we are going to have a panel at our booth with Sarah Robertson and Tristan Gary. on Wednesday. So if you guys have time, please, I will put the link here for you to put the RSVP if you have the time to come by. We're going to be serving brunch. And it's on that panel, we're going to be answering a lot of those questions because those two designers used Laminam for the first time. They went through the process, so they understand what it takes and how you can use and incorporate porcelain and Laminam to your projects.
Beautiful. And Fernanda, please again, go into the chat and answer more questions while I am going to move the final presentation over to Jeremy to tell us a little bit more about what we can see from Ballerina Kitchens at KBIS this year.
Thank you, Veronica. We're excited to be back. We are one of the initial Global Connects members, and this will be our third year displaying and our fourth year at the show. I did the math while you guys were talking. This will be my 16th KBIS, so that's exciting. So I'm only 30 years old. So I am Jeremy Parcels. I am the Ballerina representative for the United States, and for the foreseeable future, North America. So if we have any friends on from other areas, I would be your contact. Ballerina is considered a medium-sized kitchen producer, or as we call them, European kitchen furniture, right? We are the 7th largest producer in Germany. We are based in Rottinghausen, which is just outside of Bunda, which translates to in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of German manufacturing haven. So you may not know, but most German manufacturers are located in this very same region. We now produce over 30,000 kitchens a year with the quality of being made in Germany. We export to 31 different countries, and currently we are the only female-led cabinet company in all of Germany. You can see Miss Heidrun Brinkmeyer there on the left of your screen. Her technical title is Sales and Marketing Director. In the US, we would much more call her a CEO. To the right, you will see Mr. Ellersik, who is our founder, who founded Ballerina back in 1978. And in the middle is the guy that brings it all together. That is Heiko. He is our director of manufacturing. So not a lot of red tape at Ballerina. You are looking at our entire executive board. We're excited to be back this year, and I kind of streamlined our slides here to show you some of the new product that we're bringing to the US. Some of this we'll have on display. And first up is our new thin frame shaker that you can see in front of you. This is done with our velvet lacquer, so it's very soft feeling lacquer, available in custom colors as well. So with Ballerina, we do custom sizes and custom colors, which is rare for a German manufacturer. And so far, we've continued to be able to do that. The thin frame shaker, you can see, not only wraps around our doors, but also accents around the end panels. So no detail is forgotten with Ballerina. For 12 years straight now, we are rated the #1 quality furniture manufacturer in all of Germany. New introduction to the market this year as well is our Orlando door style, which you can see here in this beautiful China hutch that we had at Haus Messe. The doors on the bottom are, again, that thin frame shaker, but with a double step in it. This is done in one of our most popular colors in the US over the last 18 months. These pastels you'll see in our booth. We have a beautiful color called Field Jade that will be in our booth, as well as our real wood veneer cabinetry. This year, if you'll go to the next slide, please. This year, we're going to continue developing along this kitchen, which is our hidden kitchen. We will not show it on the show floor, but we have continued to expand our pocketing door systems to now go up to 8.5 feet in total opening width. The flex space design that you see here is something I like to talk about because they don't let me show it on the show floor, but I think it's fantastic. Flex design is a way that you can order from the factory any different front on any drawer. So if you wanted 3 different drawer fronts on a drawer, it would ship from the factory this way. I'm also a designer, and for years we might want to put, say, a stainless steel front on a bank of drawers. You would have to order it separately, ship the entire cabinet to the job site, and then have your installer swap out the fronts. Now you can order them made that way, custom directly from the factory. One of our big sellers in the US here is our front Intarsia. Intarsia is a herringbone real oak veneer. We offer it in 3 different stain finishes. I think that, Veronica, you and I haven't talked in a while, but when I came on board as a Ballerina representative, we had a total of 3 dealers, of which my company was the 3rd. We now have 16. So we're growing, and the majority of our displays all have the herringbone veneer because it has been so popular, as well as the reeded glass that you can see there on the left side of the display.
Gorgeous.
So ballerina, if we think about a ballerina, they are strong, flexible, and beautiful, right? Well, flexible to ballerina means that our furniture can be used anywhere in the house, not just in a kitchen. At Ballerina, we do wardrobes, like the beautiful ones you're seeing here, fully integrated with lights. The lights and the accessories with Ballerina ship from the factory with your kitchen. So that's what's kind of a departure with thinking how we do in North America, where you specify the cabinet and then you hunt and search in maybe a Rev-A-Shelf catalog for an accessory that fits that drawer. That is not something you have to worry about with Ballerina. Everything is sold in the directly in the catalog, ships with the kitchen, and your installer knows where it goes because it ships by position number, just like we did in Veronica's house. So if the cabinet is position 10 and it has a silverware organizer, the silverware organizer would be position 15 or position 16 or position 17. So it is also there to simplify your life. If we could go to the next, please. And here you can see on the left our pocketing door system showing how we do some hidden desks. This one is done with our new level 1 finish. So our finishes range from level 1 to 8, and that is your price category. This is natural walnut. It is a new release in level 1. You can get it in cabinet fronts, cabinet boxes, panels, countertops, you name it. Any surface Ballerina offers, you can get this finish. And at KBIS, we will be showing it in a fully integrated wardrobe. On the right, you can see an example of how Ballerina treats laundry rooms. One thing that I found over the last year is how flexible Ballerina can be for whole home projects. We have now been doing more and more custom homes. We're getting ready to do a 30,000 square foot home in Ohio that will feature Ballerina cabinetry in every room, including the garage. If you could go to the last slide. Okay, now we're on Designhounds. My lovely designer, Leslie, is going to post all of our information into the chat, but if you have questions, I'm ready to answer.
Yes, and the first question is, what is the lead time on the cabinets?
It does depend on the design front, but it can be as quick as 8 weeks.
Yeah, and I will attest to that. How do designers work with you? How can they, you guys are not showroom heavy, so how does that work with you right now?
So we are expanding showrooms throughout the US, but we do work with independent designers as well. And with those, you would simply contact me. I think Rose has done one with me now. You can simply send me the layout as you would traditionally design it, and I will convert it and send it back to you while you're getting comfortable with the product, and I can provide samples shipped directly to your house.
Perfect.
Or office or showroom. The landscape has changed, right, Veronica? And everybody's in a different working space now.
Yeah. And it is. And I think, Jeremy, obviously you're part of the Designhounds community because you and I go way back in terms of, yourself as a kitchen designer. moving into being a Global Connect advisor. That's why I always smirk when I talk about Ballerina, because you guys are sort of this poster child for everything we've done. And Ballerina has done it all right in terms of investment in the business and the industry in the correct way, doing the due diligence, coming to check out if this market is right for them, getting networked in, meeting the right people, not rushing into anything. And so we pull out Ballerina so often as just the perfect case study of how you conquer a marketplace. And so, you know, anytime you want to kind of connect with the crew, obviously, Jeremy, you can do that yourself, but we will connect you with anybody that's interested in more information or in samples. We will put them in touch with you. And Christine is saying that she's just working on a big closet design, and now she has that inspiration. And then Joanne Kendrick are part of the Vacation Rental Design Collective, which is really important because Ballerina is a big part of that conversation already as well.
Yeah, we're happy to support all the members of the vacation rental design community and Designhounds. You know, Veronica and I sat outside of KBIS in Orlando and discuss what this could be. And here we are. So I'll do anything to support all the Designhounds.
Here we are, and we thank you, sir. And you know, one of the Global Connect things we're doing this year is NKBA will be hosting a number of events at the German House Fair. And the German House Fair, for everybody in the room, it's not a trade show. It is literally, I would say, roughly 30 to 40 square miles of open house tours, showrooms, and factory tours in northern Germany. We've done 2 buyers tours with the NKBA in years past. This year, we apparently won't be doing another buyers tour, and that's fine. But I would like to kind of get input from you guys if you want to go. If you'd like more information about how to tackle this house fair, meeting the brands, seeing their factories, how these guys works, is really, really exciting. There are a couple of smaller trade show buildings, design buildings, and then there's Area 30. I'll plop these into the links into the chat here in just a minute. It's very, very cool. So know that we are working on bringing together the Americans that want to come and travel to Germany on their own, but then find multiple touch points with NKBA, with the Global Connect folks, to kind of be part of focus groups, panel discussions, help the Germans understand what you guys as North American designers need. So that is right now our vision around the German relationship. More to come on that, which will always be in our Designhounds Facebook group, of course, exclusive for our community. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Please, again, put your contact information into the chat again so people can reach out to you. And yes, I'm hoping Heather, I don't know if Heather's still here or not, but you're seeing people want to go to German House Fair. I told everybody that would happen. So
I am still here. And
you
yes,
are still here. Are you reading this? Are you reading this?
I
So I think it's a good thing. I think this would be a wonderful opportunity. And of course, I just also told Fernanda that we really need to include a Designhounds Day at Laminam while we're over there in Parma. And that leads me to wrapping it up with a little very much self-serving message. And that's where we're going to go in 2025. I talked about this a little bit in our private Facebook group this morning already, but we will be hosting 3 major events outside of KBIS, which of course is our big event for the year. On KBIS, please note, everybody in the room, that we are planning our Designhounds meetup, bringing all of you guys together at 4:30 p.m. at the Encore. And Florence will post links to this in the group and hopefully here as well, if she can. I don't know if it's a private event link. Maybe it has to be in the Facebook group. I'm not sure how that works. But we will bring everybody together at the Encore at 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, February 27th. And that is really our commitment to making sure people consider staying that last day at KBIS. And then we get to go hang out and wine you and dine you and have a good time and bringing the community together again. So I think we're expecting like maybe 60 or 70 design hounds at that time. So looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. But then in May, we will be at the Merchandise Mart for our Business Spark conference. And if you know me, you know I always have to find kind of an emotional connection to what we do. So this is going to be about remembering and finding the soul of your business. Looking forward to that. We'll be working with the Merchandise Mart and their wine and design event. We'll have architecture tours in Chicago. We'll have boat tours in Chicago. If you know me, you know we always end on a boat somewhere. And some really good conference workshops around the topic that just dig a little bit deeper into the psyche of business management. Then in October 6th through 13, we're back with the Antiques Diva and all of her companions in Italy. We will be in Parma, Fernanda, not that far. In fact, we're going to Modena to do a class on making balsamic vinegar. Heather is like, oh God, the last time I've been to Modena. We've already done
I'm
this.
still using that balsamic though, by the way.
So am I. It was
So
so
good.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
So we're
amazing.
gonna go get
Right.
more. We're getting more in October. If you note, we're doing this right between the house fair, our Global Connect Italian and Spanish road trip, and our events at SICAM. So we're plopping in a Designhounds Italy retreat right in the middle there. That's all about, not about kitchen and bath, it's about vintage, it's about vintage design, antiques, it's about culture. So it really is indeed a retreat for all of you guys to power down together and connect and have a lot of fun. And then finally, we're going to Miami, December 4th through 8th for our Designhounds Creative Spark Conference during our Basel in Miami, which will just be so much fun, very hands-on, lots of painting, lots of sculpting. Beach parties, I'm told, will be involved, and a great way to end the year before you guys have to go back into family mode around the holidays, because you probably need a little Miami getaway before you do that. And that's it for us for 2025. And with that, we are done. And poor Sarah, shout out to Sarah. I'm all blurry. When did I get blurry? Hold on one second. Let me fix myself here. My camera will do this. Sarah, who is my daughter, is also works with me full-time on the Global Connect program and is in Milan, Italy. It's where she lives with her lovely husband, and it's midnight there. So we're going to let her go to bed and let all of you guys get on with your evening.
A last final plug really quickly, guys, before, and again, thank you everybody for joining us and spending your time with us. Be on the lookout for our friends at BlueStar. They will be on our next Designhounds Talks product series webcast. It's a very short form webcast that will be live streamed. We will have all the details for you then, but that'll include even more juicy product details. And we will be continuing with our Designhounds Talks webcasts that include monthly workshops for designers only. This is everything you need to know in your business. Creatives will be a part of it. And then finally, we do have news and events. And something tells me we need to be keeping these product preview events going, Veronica, because I think it's a great way to connect everybody in a short-term environment. So.
Yeah, this has been good. Florence has actually been texting me to tell me we need to be doing these 4 times a year, to be quite honest. So I don't know if I have the strength, but I think if you guys are interested in getting more insights from our brand partners throughout the year, this is a great format in which to do it because it's not distracted by the trade show, so that when you get to the trade show, you can actually focus on the really good stuff and touching and feeling, and you get the learning in another forum. So thank you again for all of you turning out today. Again, this is recorded. We will be dropping this into the private Facebook group so you guys can zoom through some of the details again later on. Transcript is available and contact information for all of our partners are available through Florence and Sarah. Thank you guys. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
See you at KBIS.
Bye. See you at KBIS.